Mansfield. Blake's right there, and he's 11. And we have Ian Oblitz. Thank you, Ian. And John Belinsky. Thank you, John. Logan Scharschmidt. Thank you, Logan. Brandon Wright. Thank you, Brandon. Tyler Liu. Thank you, Tyler. Aiden Tang. Thank you, Aiden. Chris Keller. Thank you, Chris. And Will Clark. I want to thank you all for coming and helping us with the pledge today. God bless you.
Thank you.
The organizational part of the meeting begins, and I'm going to ask for a motion to appoint Board of Trustee Chair.
I would like to move our most senior trustee, not in age, but time in service, Melanie, as the chair of this board.
Second. Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperline?
Yes?
And I'll move to approve Trustee Gemperline as the vice chair.
I'll second that.
Mr. Gemperline? Mrs. Lenahan? Yes.
This is not.
Get to the rules.
We need to vote.
Melanie, you can take those notes. All right, make a motion to confirm the chair as the District Health Advisory Board representative.
I will second that.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes?
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. And move to approve 2 representatives to the Tax Incentive Review Council.
In the past, it's been myself and one of the trustees.
Okay. Are you interested in that?
It meets maybe once or twice a year.
Sure.
Okay, move to appoint Matt Huffman and Mike Gemperline to the Tax Incentive Review Council.
I'll second that.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
And move to appoint 5 representatives of the township to the CETA committee.
It's usually the zoning commission
Okay.
members.
Okay.
Do they need to be named here? Excuse
I'd
me.
have to ask Tracy to name them off. I don't know them off the top of my head.
I don't know that it's necessary to actually name them.
So the board members, not alternates.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll move to appoint the zoning commission as the 5 representatives of the township to the CETA committee.
I will second that.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
I move to approve the minutes for November 27.
I will second that as well.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. I move to approve the minutes for December 3rd.
And again, I will second.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
And move to approve the minutes for December 17th.
Second.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
And move to approve the minutes for December 24th.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes.
Departmental updates. Who wants to start? Hey, Joel.
All right, Joel James, Road Department Supervisor. The month of December, we picked up some trash, as usual. Crack seal has started. Cleaned out some drains, shop repair on equipment. We burned some roads and filled potholes with cold patch. Haven't had any snow yet, so we're ready.
Got it on.
Chief Megan, go ahead.
Good evening. My year report will be coming out in a couple of weeks. We did finish the year with 2,713 runs, which is a 13% increase over last year. And for the month of December, we had 238 total runs. Let's see, for the year, one of the things I want to put out for the year, we had several structure fires. Our incident value for our structure fire per incident was $5.3 million, and we only had $300,000 in loss. And we had a couple of very significant fires, so I'm very proud of the job you guys have done. We had a great year with grants. We got several good big grants, and we've also got another grant that we'll be working on. We're working on a cancer initiative that we kind of started this year. We're going to try to kick it in full gear. We have one washing machine that washes our bunker gear at Station 2, and we were able to secure $10,000 of a $12,000 bill for a washer at this station. So when the guys come back, they'll be able to clean their stuff. We won't have to take it in between stations and have guys continually touching it and being contaminated with it. So that's where we are. Looking forward to the year. Thank you.
The zoning department kept busy for the month of December. The Board of Zoning Appeals had 2 meetings and heard 5 applications in which they denied the request for a swimming pool cover to be used in lieu of a required fence, which that applicant has requested some time in front of the zoning commission to possibly take a look at that code section. They approved a side yard setback reduction for an existing accessory structure, approved a variance for the location of a fence. They approved a change in what is considered the front of the property. They also approved a front setback variance for an existing structure. The zoning commission had 1 meeting in December and heard 1 application in which it was a rezoning request for the overlay, which was continued to January 23rd. Financials were good for the year end, and I imagine they'll continue to stay that way.
Hello, Michael Parks. We've been just kind of business as usual, maintenance on equipment, keeping trash picked up. And we've been doing a lot of work along the edges of trails, things like that, cutting brush back, kind of opening up so people can see, that kind of thing. Just lots of maintenance, updating contracts, that kind of for the upcoming year.
We have Kathy with HR.
We had 1 new hire in November, and that's Mary Beth Robinson. She's our new zoning secretary. You guys have met her. I think Tracy is enjoying having a secretary, or a zoning secretary. This month, we wrapped up the USW, or November and December, we wrapped up USW negotiations. We are moving forward with fact-finding with the IAFF negotiations. We have 100% completion on the performance appraisals for the year through our new Paylocity system, so that seems to be working well. And no workers' comp claims this month, and other just miscellaneous things. We have a 15-year milestone for Aaron Roush in Parks and Road Services, and 25-year milestone for Lieutenant Tom Saunders in fire prevention.
And just to follow up with the administrative report, as Kathy mentioned, we have been in contract negotiations, so that has taken up some of our time this month. The electric and gas aggregation, which was voted on by the public, had a couple open houses for residents to learn more about the program. That has since been approved, and completed paperwork has been sent to the PUCO. A couple meetings with developers for potential development within the township. Record requests from residents have been keeping us busy as well. So overall, roughly 7% of my time is development, 60% communications, 13% quality of life, and 20% operations and safety. And that's based off our strategic plans.
Thank you, Mark.
Any questions for anyone?
No, thank you.
That, then we'll move on to our first zoning item. We have Jay Boone, on behalf of the Old and Tandy Local Schools, has submitted plans for 4,462 square foot freestanding building for Old and Tandy Liberty High School located at 3584 Home Road, and they propose to be used for stadium, is proposed to be used for stadium locker rooms. Plans comply with the zoning resolution. In support of the public school system, Old and Tandy Local Schools is respectfully requesting that the Board of Trustees consider waiving the zoning permit fees.
You guys been busy.
Yes, we are, as usual. I appreciate putting us in your schedule tonight. I'm Jeff Gordon, Director of Business Management for the district. As Matt mentioned, we've got a locker room project that is fully booster funded, that the booster group is currently raising funds for, and we'll donate to the district to support a separate locker room out at the stadium. I'm here tonight before Jay talked a little more about the project, but I wanted to again reiterate our letter to the township asking to waive the fees. You've been kind enough to do that in the past, and we come back again to ask for that consideration this time around for the locker room project. Again, it's a district project, but it's booster funded, and again, boosters, community are raising the funds to support that endeavor. So with that, I'll let Jay talk a little bit about the project.
Jay Boone with Moody Nolan Architects. Just a very, very quick summary about the building itself. It will be, currently it's just north of the existing visitors concession stand, which is on the north side of the visitors stadium side. It will house lockers for football, soccer, baseball, girls soccer, field hockey, softball, and lacrosse. In it is also, as Jeff mentioned, athletic training and expansion of what they currently have, coaches' offices and mechanical rooms. And it's about 4,500 square feet, very much in keeping with the existing visitors concession stand architecture type, so it's utilitarian.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that's happening. I move to waive the zoning permit fees for the schools.
I will second that.
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenny?
Yes. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you on behalf of the district. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
The next zoning item is a public hearing to consider the following. LT 18-04 submitted by Matthew Callahan on behalf of Pulte Homes of Ohio LLC requesting a proposed amendment to the Liberty Township zoning resolution, which will rezone 4 parcels from farm residence FR1 district to planned multifamily residence district PMFR to permit the development of 104 condominiums to be known as Hyatt's Crossing under the preliminary development plan. The 4 parcels are as follows: Delaware County Tax Parcel 319-210-010-000, which is 7.342 acres located on Hyatt's Road, currently owned by Michael and Barry. Thank you. Delaware County Parcel 319-210-010-001, 2.557 acres located on Hyatt's Road, owned by the same individuals. 3247 Hyatt's Road, which is 1.621 acres, currently owned by Adams Real Estate Investment Company, and Delaware County Tax Parcel 319-210-010-00600, which is 16.794 acres, located currently owned by Columbus and Southern Ohio Electric Company. All parcels are located in Region 19, Township 3, Section 2, Liberty Township, Delaware County, Ohio. At the conclusion of the hearing, the matter will be submitted to the Liberty Township Board of Trustees for its actions. So tonight's their night of public hearing.
Thank you, Matt. Good evening, Madam Chair. Mr. Gavin.
Doesn't work.
I'm sorry. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay. Well, I don't need it. My name's Tom Hart. I'm the zoning lawyer for the applicant, Pulte Homes of Ohio LLC. With me tonight is Matt Callahan from Pulte and Jackson Ernest representing the
ownership of the family that currently owns the property or has part of it in contract as well. As Matt read, we are requesting a zoning approval for a single-family ranch condominium development at the southwest corner of Hyatt's and Sawmill Parkway. We expect this development to be if approved, to be a predominantly empty nester and active adult community based on the design of the homes and the design of the site. We expect pricing of the homes to be in the high 300s to the mid 400s. Basically, what we're trying to do is accommodate folks who are downsizing, both downsizing their home size and the maintenance of a piece of property in their lives with a changing lifestyle. The homes really come with less yard space, less active maintenance, and then more perimeter and common open space. This proposal coming out of the Planning Commission has 37% open space compared to the code, which requires 20%. The open space features a central green with community meeting amenities, and then there are also perimeter walking paths which are designed to connect to the regional multi-use path system. The application and the site plan went through multiple public hearings and reviews, both at the Regional Planning Commission and then several hearings at the Planning Commission. It was very clear early on in the Planning Commission process that we had initially proposed commercial. We proposed this site as essentially a mixed-use project with commercial and residential together. It was very clear the Planning Commission did not favor that. So we did amend the application. The Planning Commission also wanted us to drop the unit count. We're actually at 100 units on the site. There's a mistake in the notice that says 104, but coming out of Planning Commission, we're at 100 units. They also wanted us to increase the setback from Sawmill Road to create a little more space and allow for more landscaping in the buffer area between Sawmill and the site itself. So we did that, we've done that. They also asked us to add tree lawns where we have sidewalks internal to the site, again, get a little more spatial and greenery design between the homes and the streets. We also acted on their request to make one of the ponds that's on the southern end of the site more of an amenity and a feature by wrapping the bike path around the pond so that people can use it and it connects to that regional system. When we made those changes and after multiple hearings, the Planning Commission did recommend approval 4-1. We're here tonight to ask for your support, and Matt and Jack and our team here will answer any questions you have and anything further.
Do you know how much the increase of the setback was? And
yes, sir.
What the setback is?
It's 170 feet from the center line to the build area is what they asked us to do. I honestly don't remember what it was previously, but it was significant. They wanted us to move the construction, the actual homes away from Sawmill.
Will there be any, you talked about landscape to somewhat reflect the view. Will there be any mounds or what's all involved there? Do you have a rendering of what the product will look like?
There's a rendering in your packet of the landscape plan. I don't believe, I can't honestly remember. We do have both on the Hyatt's Road and the Sawmill Parkway for the buffer. We have a commitment in the plan and the text that will install minimum 4-foot high mounds, and then there's a shade tree and an evergreen tree treatment that's outlined in the along both the Sawmill and the Hyatt's buffers.
And you may even consider beefing that up a little bit.
Yes. We will. We understand the importance of that screening, both for the residents and the public view.
concern of the density. But it's gone through our zoning, it's been approved, I suspect that they're concerned that.
You know, in 7 years, I've only trumped zoning once, and 4-to-1 vote, you know, suggests to me that they have confidence in the project. So I don't have any issues with it. I think you're putting bike path all the way up Sawmill Parkway to Hyatt's in the frontage, right?
And Hyatt's.
And Hyatt's.
Both sides.
So, thank you for that. I know it's in the zoning, but that's great, and it will be paid.
Yes. And I believe we specified 10 feet. That was another thing the planning commission wanted us to
That's great.
make sure it's wide.
That's great.
That's kind of like the new county standard too.
Yeah,
The 10
that's
feet.
great. I think it'll sell out very quickly. If it's any, like any of the other developments like this that's coming into town.
The market is definitely experiencing a lot of folks moving from traditional single-family homes to these are smaller, mainly ranch condominiums. They're four-sided architecture. They're quite nice. They are what the market is asking for in this area.
And, you know, just like the Epcot community, based on the price of these are very, to me, it's very positive for our schools. Because usually, if you have children, if you're in the high 300s to low 400s, you look for a home. And so this is, I do believe, and it is proving to be the case in Epcot, that this does attract adults without children.
We're a student of the housing industry in our careers, and Epcot is the market leader in this type of empty nester ranch product. They have close to 1,000 units, probably more now, in the Old Tanya School District, and I won't get the number, I won't remember the number right, but I know that it's under 60 children that they have in those Epcot units, because it's the design. You know, it's mainly first floor living. People with families want bigger yards, want greater open space. They also want separated space. I have just become an empty nester myself, and I can attest that I was glad that my kids were on a different floor and in different bedrooms on another side of the house than me during their teenage years. And that is the design of these homes is why they really don't attract families. And Old Tanya Schools does a great job tracking and documenting the impact of development on their district. And anybody can look at that data. Anybody can fact check what I just said.
I move to approve LTZ number 1804.
I will second.
Mr. Timberline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Goodbye.
When's completion anticipated?
It's a toughie.
It'll be a 2 to 3 year build out probably, depending on the market.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to resolution 1.
Now, can you please read what the resolution?
Liberty Township approved resolution 13040107, rules of decorum for all public meetings held by Liberty Township. The rules of decorum do not limit the freedom of speech, nor do they violate civil rights. They have been adopted in order to provide a method for any member of public and to address the board in an orderly manner within guidelines. So, want the whole thing read?
You know, this is just a resolution from, when did you say?
2013.
2013. Yes, could you please?
Continue. Quorum meetings of Liberty Township Trustee meetings shall be conducted in an orderly manner to ensure that the public has an opportunity to be heard and that the deliberative process of the board is retained at all times. Public participation is limited to the public comment and is not guaranteed or a right. This is a business meeting of a public body. Detailed questions and interactions are directed to the township staff during business hours. Rules of decorum, well, any meeting of the board is in session, the following rules of decorum shall be observed. Members of the audience, no person in the audience or any township representative shall engage in disorderly or boisterous conduct, including the utterance of loud, threatening, or abusive language, whistling, clapping, stamping your feet, or other acts which disturb, disrupt, or otherwise impede the orderly conduct of any board meeting. The board recognizes the public with the privilege to be recognized as a speaker and provide opinions on township business. However, rules of decorum must be followed. Members, in attendance, not recognized by the board as speaker shall remain quiet and orderly until so recognized. The Delaware County Sheriff's Office may be present and has to restore order if necessary. Those who are disrupted or disorderly may be asked to leave, be escorted from the meeting, or charged with disorderly conduct. Persons addressing the board, each person who addresses the board at its meeting shall sign in and be sworn in. Persons addressing the board shall not utter loud, threatening, personal, or abusive language, or engage in any other disorderly conduct which disrupts, disturbs, or otherwise impedes the orderly conduct of any board meeting. General rules of decorum: keep an open mind, listen constructively, and allow trustees to finish their statements. No arguing with trustees, township officials, residents. No interruptions from the audience. Criticize ideas, not people. Anyone intending to speak must sign in. The order to sign in will result in not being recognized to approach the podium. Accusations are not acceptable. A limit may be placed on the length of time the citizen may speak, and commentary and statements are appropriate. Questions may be asked. However, staff is available for that dialogue. The board is not convened for an inquisition. That was from April 1st, 2013.
Before we move on, I'm going to move to amend the agenda and table item 15, 16, and 24 to a date to be determined, and delete item 25. Can I get a second?
I just got a second.
Table 15, 16, and 24,
Please.
and then move item.
Delete item 25.
Would you mind reading those? I'm sorry.
I don't have a 25.
Item number,
Oh, delete the item. I got you. I think you have a resolution. Sorry.
On the agenda.
Mrs. Lenihan?
yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Resolution 1.
19010701, approving purchase orders for 2018.
Move to approve resolution 19010701.
I will second that.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Resolution 2, approving bills and warrants 2018.
Move to approve resolution 19010702.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Resolution 3, approving purchase orders for 2019.
Move to approve resolution 19010703.
I will second.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Approving, number 4, approving bills and warrants for 2019.
Move to approve resolution 19010704.
I will second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan?
Yes.
Appropriation amendment, this is the resolution 5. will be Amendment 1.
Okay, move to approve Resolution 190107.
Wait, why don't you let me tell you what's on it?
Okay, can I get a second on it and then we'll discuss it? We're going to go by Robert's rules.
Yes. No, second.
05.
Second.
Okay. Go ahead, Nancy.
There is an addition on here of a transfer of money out for the roads, 500,000.
Okay.
To draw your attention to that.
Where are you taking, you're taking it out of
General fund.
and putting it into roads?
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Resolution 6 is establish salaries and method of compensation for trustees and fiscal officers, whereas the salaries of the trustees and fiscal officers are governed by Ohio Revised Code 501.2 and 507.09 respectively, and are based on the appropriations of the township. Now therefore be it resolved by the Liberty Township Board of Trustees that the annual salaries and benefits for the Liberty Township trustees and fiscal officers will conform with the proper amounts established by law for the fiscal year 2019, that the salaries and benefits of the trustees and fiscal officers shall be paid as equal monthly payments in conformity with Ohio Revised Code 505.24 and 507.09.
Move to approve Resolution 19010706.
Second.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Resolution 7, authorize pay for township meetings attended by fire, zoning, and parks and road services employees and other township officials. There are times when township employees must attend meetings after regular business hours. When the hourly FLSA non-exempt employees are required to attend these meetings, they will be compensated in accordance with applicable bargaining unit contract and/or the employee handbook. Now therefore be it resolved by the Liberty Township Board of Trustees, Delaware County, Ohio, to authorize hourly FLSA non-exempt employees that are required to attend after-hours meetings to be compensated appropriately as specified in the applicable bargaining unit contract or the employee handbook.
Move to approve Resolution 19010707.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Resolution 8, authorize pay for the Board of Zoning Appeals and Zoning Commission. The Liberty Township Board of Zoning Appeals and Zoning Commission each have 5 regular members and 2 alternate members, which are appointed by the Board of Trustees. And the board members' pay is currently $75 per meeting and is recommended the pay remain the same for 2019. Therefore, be it resolved by the Liberty Township Board of Trustees, Delaware County, Ohio, authorize the pay of $75 per meeting for the Board of Zoning Appeals and Zoning Commission members for the 2019 year.
Move to approve Resolution 19010708.
Second.
Mr. Gemperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lanahan?
Yes.
Resolution 9, authorization of officers to incur costs. Existing state law provides for the Township Board of Trustees to authorize staff members to have expenditure authority up to a specified amount and subject that the authorization to conditions which are deemed appropriate to the efficient and effective operations of the township. And the supervisors now need to have the ability to make purchases and rent equipment based off operational need for the benefit of the residents and the efficient and effective operation. Therefore, be it resolved by the Liberty Township Board of Trustees, Delaware County, Ohio, approves the following supervisory, managerial, and support personnel to have expenditure authority up to $2,500 statutory limit with the above noted conditions and approvals. Fiscal officer, township administrator, fire chief, county chief, fire safety lieutenant, zoning inspector, park and road services superintendent, park supervisor, road supervisor, and HR specialist, subject to approval of the township administrator.
Move to approve Resolution 19010709 with the change from 2,500 to 500.
I will second that.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Resolution 10, authorize the advertising of vacant and upcoming zoning commission or board of zoning appeals positions. Zoning commission, the board of zoning appeals are required to maintain a fixed number of regular members and alternate members to stand in place of regular members during their absence. It is necessary to publicly advertise for these positions, regardless of whether eligible current members are reappointed on either board. Vacancies may occur throughout the year for various reasons, and it is in the best interest of the township to post these vacancies as quickly as possible. Therefore, this authorizes the township administrator and zoning inspector to publicly advertise for any and all vacant positions during calendar year 2019 as deemed necessary for regular and alternate members of the zoning commission and board of zoning appeals.
Move to approve Resolution 19-010710.
Second.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Resolution 11 is adopting policy of the Board of Trustees meeting notice pursuant to the Ohio Vice Code 121.22F. The Liberty Township Board of Trustees are required to establish a rule for the reasonable method whereby any person may determine the time and place of all regularly scheduled special and emergency meetings. And now therefore be it resolved to adopt into policy the following standards for public notification of all regularly scheduled special and emergency meetings of the Liberty Township Board of Trustees pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, specifically including Ohio Revised Code 121.22F. Regularly scheduled meetings, the annual schedule of all regular Board of Trustee meetings, which includes the time and place, shall be advertised in a paper of general circulation each year, posted conspicuously in the Township Hall, and posted on the Township website calendar. The meeting agenda shall be posted on the Township website and sent via email to the trustees and news media that have requested notification. Advance notifications of the meeting, including the meeting agenda, shall be provided to the person upon request and, if applicable, upon payment of a reasonable fee. Special meetings or meeting agendas shall be posted on the township website, sent to the trustees and sent to the news media no less than 24 hours prior to the time of the meeting. In emergency meetings, our best efforts shall be made to post the agenda on the website and distribute to the media contact list as far in advance of the meeting as possible, contingent upon the circumstances which necessitates the emergency meeting.
Move to approve Resolution 19-010711.
Second.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Resolution 12, appoint zoning inspector, and it should be the assistant zoning inspector as the Delaware County Regional Representative. Is that correct, Tracy?
Yes.
Yeah. So the heading just needs to be changed to the assistant zoning inspector, not the zoning inspector. Liberty Township has one representative on the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission. And actually, Tracy Mollenauer is the current township representative and recommends the assistant zoning inspector, Charles Pert. Be the township representative as Ms. Mollenauer is the alternate for 2019. So the resolution would appoint Charles Pert as the Liberty Township representative and Tracy Mollenauer as the alternate to the Delaware County Regional Planning Commission for 2019.
All right, so move to approve Resolution 19-010712 with the change of appointing the assistant zoning inspector.
I would second that.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Excuse me. Resolution 13 is approving technical services contract with EKG machines and CPR devices. The Liberty Township Fire Department has several EKG machines and CPR devices which require technical service support. And this equipment has been under a 3-year technical service contract with Physio Control, which expired in January 2019. So therefore, be it resolved to approve the attached technical service support agreement for both the EKG machine and the CPR devices at a cost not to exceed $12,000 for 1 year service contract from Vizio Controls, 11811 Wilson Road, Northeast, PO Box 97023, Woodman, Washington 980739723. And the board further authorizes the township administrator to execute any and all attendant documents.
Move to approve Resolution 19010713.
Second.
Mr. Genderland?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenihan? Yes.
Resolution 14, authorizing expenditures for firemen's turnout gear washer as part of the PWC award. I believe this is what the chief was referring to earlier in the meeting. Liberty Township Fire Department applied for and was awarded a grant to cover a portion of the cost for a fireman's turnout gear washer as part of the BWC's firefighter exposure to environmental elements grant program. And the township is responsible for the portion of the cost associated with this purchase. Therefore, be it resolved to authorize the expenditure not to exceed $2,104.67 for the purchase of a fireman's turnout gear washer payable to Advantage Equipment, 1056 Home Road, Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44310. Total expenditure for the purchase is $12,628, of which $10,523.33 will be provided by BWC grant award.
Move to approve Resolution 19010714.
Second.
Mrs. Lenihan? Yes. Mr. Genderland?
Yes.
Resolution 15, I believe you said you were
Yes.
tabling?
Yeah, 15
And 16? Resolution 17, DCEO joint bid for asphalt. Authorize participation in the county engineer joint bid process for asphalt. Looks like Andy's coming up here, maybe he can relieve my speaking. Annually, Liberty Township Roads Department submits street resurfacing needs to the Delaware County Engineer's Office for estimates and participates in the county engineer's bidding process for government and improvement services. The road department has recommended the streets on the attached road summary for the paving program and its need in an outside vendor, which will be required through the county's joint bid contract. Projected cost for 2019 road improvement is $117,557.38, and with a 10% contingency, which is a requirement for the program, the total estimated cost to be $899,313.12.
Move to approve Resolution 19010717.
Second.
Move to have Andy Promodi talk to us from the podium.
Well, we started out, we got to have our road improvement county in early November, and that's why we have such an extensive list. And then as we go through the budgeting process and working with fiscal department, we came up with the $900,000 figure. So
It's a good number.
we appreciate the board's support. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Are we getting caught up?
We'll get there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, I have a question. Is Camden in there?
If you would, maybe next year. If you want to throw some extra money in, then we can put it on.
Okay.
Because it's on the list.
How much extra?
I didn't bring my glasses.
Okay.
I have total. Thank you.
Mrs. Lenihan? Yes. Mr. Genderland?
Resolution 18 is authorizing Liberty Park maintenance use agreements with OYAA. Enter into an agreement giving the OYAA sports preferred scheduling of the athletic field at Liberty Park in order to hold youth sports events. Township Park Supervisor is responsible to coordinate with the organizations and ensure the terms of the agreement are met. Park Supervisor and Park and Road Services Superintendent have Review the attached agreement and recommend the board's approval to formalize the agreement and establish terms of use for the Liberty Township Park System. So OYA will further authorize the Parks and Road Services Superintendent and Park Supervisor to sign any and all attendant documents.
So move to approve resolution 19010718.
Second?
Can I move to ask Mike to come up for a second? Can I get a second on that?
Get a second for Andy too, I believe.
Just real quick, because I did not go through it all. Are we trying to make some fields available to other clubs that?
We had a meeting, everybody sat down, OYAA was there, all the other clubs that in the area that expressed interest, Matt was there. We had talked, things like that. We are trying to accommodate as well as we can. OYAA is trying, as far as like their scheduling, things like that, it kind of depended on their rec numbers as far as to how many fields they was going to be able to work with, things like that.
Okay, were we able to give some field times?
Well, their registration just opened, is the thing. So this is the first step as far as them kind of working to see how many numbers, how many kids they're going to have. I do know that they said Orange Township, I think you spoke to somebody, they was able to secure some space over there as well.
Okay.
There's an organization that used fields over in Orange Township. They had not heard anything from Orange Township prior to our meeting. Orange Township has recently hired a new staff member. So once he's really on board and everything and starts looking at the field usage, my contact over there sounded like the organizations that used the field last year will get those same field back this year.
We want to try to get kids in the township.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Let me take a roll call, thanks. Yes.
Yes.
Resolution 19 is authorizing South Liberty Park maintenance and use agreements with YMCA. This is a relatively new agreement for the township. It would enter into agreement giving the YMCA PAL the preferred scheduling of athletic fields at South Liberty Park in order to hold youth activities. Park supervisor is responsible to coordinate with the organizations and ensure the terms of the agreement are met. Park supervisor and Park and Road Services Superintendent have reviewed attached, and then this would allow YMCA to use South Liberty Park athletic fields as a preferred user. If I remember right, this is pretty much during the daytime hours for park, for Hawaii's programs. So it's not really necessarily interfering, if you will, with the OYAA since that's later in the day.
Okay. Move to approve resolution 19010719.
Second?
Mr. Gimperline?
Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Resolution 20 would be the authorized trustee Lenahan act as board of trustees liaison to the fire department and fire chief. Was expected to have one board member act as a liaison to the fire department and fire chief. Board liaison shall communicate to the fire chief and the fire department on behalf of the board of trustees the expectations of the board and act as the main point of contact for the chief. And this resolution would appoint trustee Lenahan as that liaison and point of contact.
Move to approve resolution 19010722.
I will second that. Yes.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Just rubber stamp.
Resolution 21, authorized trustee Kimperline to act on as the board trustee liaison to administrative offices, Parks and Road Services Department, Zoning Department. Very similar to the previous one, in addition, they're expected to have one board member act as a liaison and point of contact. So this would appoint trustee Kimperline to that position.
Move to approve resolution 19010721.
Second?
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes?
Mr. Gemperle?
Yes.
Resolution 22, authorize trustee Lenahan to pursue a contract for township medical director on behalf of the board of trustees. It is sufficient and effective to have one board member gather and present information to the board of trustees regarding a contract for the township medical director. So now therefore be it resolved by the board of trustees of Liberty Township, Delaware County, Ohio, to authorize trustee Melanie Lenahan to pursue contract for the Liberty Township medical director.
Where's your integrity? 0722.
Transparency.
I will second that.
Conflict of interest.
Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemperle?
Then we have to take this to public session.
Yeah.
Public discussion? Dan, I have to ask you to sit down.
Resolution 23, which authorizes fire department expenditures for Fenley fire equipment necessary for the Liberty Township Fire Department to purchase fire gear to ensure the safety of the fire department. This would authorize an expenditure of the fire department funds for the purchase of fire gear in the amount not to exceed $25,000 payable to Fenley Fire Equipment 5255 North State Route 16 Northwest from Connellsville, Ohio.
Move to approve resolution 19010723.
Second.
Mrs. Lenahan?
Yes.
Mr. Gemperle?
Yes.
And we need to schedule an IAFF grievance meeting.
We do for the holiday payout.
Okay.
So we need to just get a date and time.
What's our deadline?
Actually, the 21 days is up tomorrow, so we'll need to notify the IAFF tomorrow.
All right, do you want to have the grievance meeting after this?
We would need to notify them, that would be sufficient time.
Do we want to schedule,
Future, the contract requires us to schedule a meeting within the 21 days to receive their agreement. So
Okay, all right.
it could be future dates.
All right, I just want to be within our time frame. All right.
So availability of the trustees, date and time,
Okay,
and then we'll notify the
can we, do we need to do this tonight because Shara's not here?
It's the 21 days of notifying them, scheduling the meeting is tomorrow, so.
All right, and then from that 21-day point that we have to schedule is how long do we have, what's our time frame between now and scheduling?
The contract just states that we have to schedule a meeting within 21 days.
Okay.
It doesn't give a date for, that at that point, I don't recall.
All right.
So next week after,
All right.
next board meeting.
Next meeting?
We could do it before or after this board meeting.
Okay, why don't we do it before the next board meeting?
At 6:30?
Okay?
6:30?
6:30 on the 21st?
That's 22nd.
22nd?
Because Martin Luther King, it falls on Monday the 21st, so the next trustee meeting will be on a Tuesday evening.
Okay.
Do we anticipate this to take longer than 30 minutes?
Potentially.
So,
But if it does, perhaps we can go into executive afterwards. follow
So I
up.
mean, 6:15?
6:15.
What do you think, Kathy? How long should it take? How about 6:15?
It's for them to present any new information, so.
Oh, that shouldn't take long. I think 6, it shouldn't take too long.
6:15, Tuesday the 22nd.
All right.
And that's-
All right, just a reminder with unscheduled business, since we're adhering to Robert's rules, if the trustee wants to move to discuss a matter, they can. If they get a second, it'll be discussed. If not, the motion dies. So do you have any unscheduled business?
I thought this was a public meeting.
Do you have any
I
unscheduled?
thought you were representatives of this public.
Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to stop speaking out.
Why?
That's why he read the rules ahead of time, or we're going to have to ask you to leave.
So the public in Liberty Township are not allowed to speak.
Do you have the name?
Leave them alone.
I'm sorry, I didn't just doing your job, but leave it alone.
That's all I do. You can see for yourselves. And I hope the media can see for themselves.
I don't understand your last
Sir,
statement.
I'm going to have to ask you to sit down. You read the rules.
You
and I'm-
said we didn't suggest a topic, is that what you're saying?
No, this is unscheduled business where trustees can bring up business that has not been on the agenda. And you make a motion if you want to discuss it if it's not on the agenda and you're a trustee and you would like to discuss a different matter. So you would make a motion, and if you get a second, then it's discussed. This is Robert's rules for order and decorum. So that was all I was talking about, the rules that we would follow.
Do Robert's rules include policemen?
All right. So,
I would like to move that we discuss the investigation of the fire district.
I'll second that.
This is something that I believe needs to be on the table, as everyone has expressed great concern about potential changes. The only change that really has been proposed is the very vague proposal from Delaware County Commissioners, which I've stated I would not approve as stated. But a bigger issue on the strategic growth plan of Liberty Township is for us to move to a fire district. This has been approved by all the prior trustees to me, and that entails eliminating Liberty Township Fire and EMS. Every firefighter, EMS person, would no longer have a job here, as the department would no longer exist. Yes, we would move to a district where there's a good potential that most would be hired at the new district, but no guarantees. Also, there is zero guarantee that they would be hired at the same pay and benefits. As far as my understanding of the fire district, it loses direct township control, pretty much the same as what people are giving a big fuss about, of the hypothetical potential of us going with Delaware County EMS. The township would no longer have direct governance of that fire department. It would no longer be Liberty Township Fire Department. So I have concern that is this on our strategic growth as approved by, again, all the trustees thus far.
So a fire district was put on the strategic plan and is an initiative of trustee Eichmann. So I have no interest in a fire district, but she has discussed it at length. And
Did she have any reasoning for why she would have wanted to move that way?
she just said she was interested in a fire district and asked that it be put on the strategic plan.
What benefits could there possibly be, would be a cost savings?
Why would you take a lot of money here?
You have to stop talking over the trustees. We're discussing something. Your trustee made a motion to discuss a matter and I seconded it. And now he's discussing it, and he asked me, where did it come from, because he's concerned about it, because he's heard from you, this is what he said, heard from you that you don't want to lose control of your fire department. And so his concern about a fire district is you lose complete control over your fire and your EMS in a fire district. You have no control ever again, because you don't have a Liberty Township Fire Department. This was an initiative, this was put on our strategic plan by Trustee Icorn. I'm opposed to it. That's all. He's asked about it because he's...
It's public record.
Shouldn't she be able to explain? When was that? What date?
What's the date of this last time we had a
2016.
2016. So I think that Trustee Amberline said he's bringing it up because he's concerned about it, because it's on a strategic plan, and everybody has voiced a concern against losing control of our fire and EMS.
Would you not be equally concerned, that's not a question speech requesting a response, but I would think that people would be equally concerned.
Okay, so like Shire, you're saying you're against the fire district, and so are you, because obviously that's why she put it out there, because she wanted to hear that you were against it.
No,
And she
Shire's-
wanted to hear that you were against it.
No, Shire put this on the strategic plan in 2016.
But she's not here to represent that.
Sir, this was put on the plan before I was ever trustee.
I realize that you were
So
running
this
back
is
then.
unscheduled
Way
business.
before then.
And before discussing it. Okay, this is not, Mike has brought up unscheduled business, and I've addressed it. That's, if he has any more to say, he can.
Is there a purpose? Do we have a purpose?
So should that be removed from our strategic plan, or?
I would probably be in favor of the
I would put a resolution on the table to remove that from our strategic plan.
Second. Yes. Mr. Gensler?
Yes.
All right, we're going to go into public comment, and I just want to remind everyone that unless you are asked to come to the podium, please do not. And you'll have 3 minutes to speak and make your comments. Excuse me 1 second.
Carrie Daly, 3159 Rossmore Circle. Thank you for giving me time to talk. I just have something I want to read. So again, louder. I'm going to. So I'm going to read something that was written on December 4th, 2018 at 7:54 a.m. Thank you, Mike. I am sorry that you had to sit through that, but I am glad you got to see the hurdles we have to overcome. I, for one, feel very convinced that the Liberty Township will be much better off and much safer with Delaware County EMS. I would like to start by hiring your medical director as of January 1st. I will speak to your chief about that. My next step would then to, quote, test DCEMS and ask for 3 men medic at either station to take the place of our medic. I would like to have a meeting with you and the Chief Schilling and Chief O'Brien maybe next week, if possible. I am not sure why the police officer stood in the corner and did nothing. Maybe because his chief commented about not changing things for the better. The people are rude and out of order because their leader, Shara, told them to be that way when what's her son? Whoa! She is a disgrace. There will never be a task force approved by me. It's just a ploy by the left to reduce their own ideological outcomes. Many of the people there were union members and their family members. I won't cave to this disgraceful behavior. The outcomes, the citizens of Liberty Township elected me to run their township to be the best interest, and I fully intend to. I would ask that we prepare a transition plan for this test and complete the implementation. Thank you in advance for helping the people of Liberty Township. Melanie Linehan. So, Trustee Linehan, do you understand that the resolution 19010722 does not authorize any prior work to appoint a medical director before this evening, including this email to Delaware County Administrator Cromer on December 4th, 2018. Also, I want to point out when you make the comment, we elected you, you ran uncontested in the last election, of which you only received 5,926 votes, of which there were 15,848 people who voted. And even uncontested, you didn't check the box. I will tell you, I am not taking my info from Shira. I am my own person. Everybody in this room is their own person. I am not left, and I am not union, and I want my EMS and fire. So maybe you should follow the rules. Blessed day.
What's the name?
Sarah Marie Brenner.
Sarah Marie Brenner.
Hi, my name is Sarah Marie Brenner, 8824 Clearview Lake Court. Other than a few years in college, I've lived in this township my entire life. And for a moment, if I wanted to say, which I don't, but if I wanted to say that I supported taking EMS out of this township, I think the first thing I'd want to make sure of is that everything's done in a very transparent way. And that's the problem with resolutions 20, 22, and 24. Especially 24, because we're going to end up, if you guys do move forward with something, which, again, I don't want you to do, that's why I'm here, but if you do end up moving forward with something, you need to make sure it's transparent. You need to make sure that it's not one trustee, and it wouldn't matter who it is. And I consider myself to be friends with all three of you, so it's not a personal thing of Trustee Linehan or one other trustee. It has nothing to do with that. It's a matter that when you have something this serious and you have this many people who are against what they think is about to happen, you've got to stay transparent. And by just putting one person in charge of those conversations, you're taking all of that transparency away. Because then what happens, those seconds count, because then what happens is when you come back, that means only twice a month are all of those details going to be shared. Not only with the other two trustees, but with the public. So it's not going to be a free flow of information. It's not going to be a situation where multiple trustees know. And I understand you have the public meeting problem, where you can't have 2 or 3 trustees meeting with someone. That's fine. You can have the conversations in a public meeting. It doesn't all have to be behind closed doors. So I would just encourage you also, part of why you're seeing such tension from this audience is because they've sat through 27 resolutions without having a chance to talk. The city puts public comment at the beginning, and I think that's a fantastic purpose, because then you have a chance to hear the comments before you vote. That's why you've got so much frustration here. So I encourage you to keep it open, let people talk, don't make one person in charge of the conversations. It's not going to help your cause. And I don't agree with your cause if that's what you're trying to move forward with, but you've got to keep these conversations transparent. Thank you.
Thank you. Eric Estrard. Eric.
Hello. My name is Eric Ekstrand, 1356 Dogwood Loop. I'm a have not been a resident of this township for very long, but I've lived in a township in northern Ohio for over 30 years. I'm a 34-year career firefighter, paramedic, retired, and I got to tell you something, I think I'm in a dream. I don't know what went on today. I don't know what this was. I came to talk in support of the EMS director. I've read a lot about him. He's very well known in the medical community. And one thing that my fire department and most fire departments do is they make sure their medical control comes from the hospital that they transport to the majority of the time. And I understand from everything that I've heard and investigated that that's Riverside. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That's where the communications needs to come. That's where the medical director has the most say. That's where he can direct the paramedics with different protocols so that the patients in this township are well cared for. So I support the medical director we have now and also making sure that it stays with the hospital that our patients are transported to.
Thank you.
Tom Hedge, 10153 Wellington Boulevard. I've been a resident since '92. I came up here to talk about the resolutions that you had on the agenda, but you put this discussion after you passed, which I think, as it's already been stated, is a big mistake because I believe, Mike, you told people when you came into this meeting that these items on the agenda were new to you, that you were not aware of them, yet you made a decision without hearing input from your public. And I would think if you were going to make an educated decision, that you would want to hear what we thought and felt about the resolution. I'm not sure we might have Matt on board if he cannot negotiate or discuss or convey what the fire department chief thinks about whatever questions you want him to convey back to the board. I'm not sure why it needs to be you. I think that's why we hire employees, unless I've missed out on something. And maybe we're wasting a lot of salaries if you want to conduct everything. Now, as far as the resolution, I'm glad that you passed it for your safety, because you've already violated items when you went and spoke with, according to Jeff Benton, when you went, the two of you went and spoke to them about the EMS, according to the newspaper article. And so if the two of you did, prior to receiving authorization, I'm only referring to what he said, that would be a violation of the sunshine rules. So if that's the case, and further action happens on the EMS action, then we're going to have to file a complaint with the courts that there's been a violation. And according to the law, they would be able to vacate any decision that you make towards EMS. So I would hope that if you do the EMS route to turn it over to the county, that you put it to us voters. And if you do, which is the right thing to do, not a decision made by you two, let us vote to what we want to have. And then if it's the silent majority that you so think it is, which it isn't, then you can move on with your move here. But I think it should be done by election, and that's the only way. Thank you.
I move to close public comment. Regarding Tom's comments, I think that it might have been, I'm sorry, those came in. No,
I gave it to her.
I wanted to let you know that Mike and I never met with Commissioner Benton together. What he meant was that he met with each one of us separately. Of course, we can't meet with,
Well, let me address that. So you thought about maybe wanting to meet with EMS? And, well, wait a minute, we meet with the
No, after he proposed.
this was about why they gave a proposal, is what he said.
No. When Jeff Benton met with me, it was back, it might have been after the proposal was, and we met to discuss, no, we met after everybody.
You met when? I want to make sure we have this on public record.
After they had their public session where everybody spoke. It's recorded. And I spoke with him about all the issues of the residents that came to the commissioners meeting. He and I met and he went over all the issues with me.
And what date was that roughly?
I'd have to look, I do not know.
What month?
When was the meeting, the first meeting the commissioners had where the public expressed their concerns?
It's in 31.
So I have.
Express their concern towards what?
To the county commissioners. They expressed their concerns about Delaware County EMS.
About the proposal for this, or?
No, this was after the first meeting.
About the quality of their service.
He and I met to discuss the concerns that the residents had regarding Delaware County EMS.
Okay, so.
And he went over that because he wrote down every concern, and then he researched every concern, and he went over that with me.
Okay. And then, when did you meet with him, Mike?
I've never met with Jeff.
Well, then who's the second trustee that he said he met with? I'm going by the article.
It's on record.
Don't know.
Don't believe everyone you read.
Tom. The only time I've been in the person of Mr. Benton was at a commissioners meeting. I saw him for the first time when I went to a commissioners meeting. I've talked to him on the telephone a couple times, but have
When
never.
would have been the first time you spoke to him on the telephone?
I'm only guessing, probably mid-December kind of thing. And I've never met him.
When was the first proposal?
And by the way, I've never met, was at that meeting for Ladies Eat Million that everyone says that I was. And the statements that I made.
What I know is that what prompted them to give a proposal, according to the article, according to what this statement was because he met with two individuals. We know Shire wasn't motivated to meet with them. So it obviously had to be you two. Now we'll have to deposition them to find out what it is.
Please do.
Okay.
But he certainly didn't meet with us together.
May I respond?
Well, even if it was separate, there shouldn't be any communication from you to him about your meeting unless you presented it to Matt and he presented it back to you.
I didn't know that she met with him until you just said so.
That's okay.
That's true, Tom, we don't discuss it.
That's when the attorney down was on jail. Stand real quick.
So anyway, Tom, neither, Mike and I never sat down with Commissioner Benton together. So that just didn't happen, ever.
Okay.
Sorry, I made you digest that right there.
Sorry.
You might have a copy of that.
Just didn't happen. That's all there is to it. And I
Requested this report.
Tom, there was something else you mentioned that I wanted to address. There was something else you mentioned that I wanted to address.
Why you didn't want to hear from, either one of you wanted to hear from the public?
About public comment, we have always put it at the end. And one meeting, we put it at the beginning. And I even did say this time around, should we put public comment at the beginning? But what happened was in the one, which I'm happy to do. I have no problem putting public comment at the beginning. But last time we did it at the beginning, we had a very hard time getting through it.
Well, but are you wanting the public comment to praise your decisions, or are you wanting the public comment to help you make a more informed decision about what you think your public would like to have passed?
Well, I'm just telling you that for the past 7 years, public comment has been at the end of the meeting. One meeting, we put it at the beginning, and we had a very difficult time getting through the meeting, so.
Your life is difficult, but why would you,
This is why.
but why do you want to hear from the public?
Why do we
What
want to
would-
hear?
yeah, well, why would you want to hear from the public after you've made a decision?
Oh, you mean on the resolutions?
On everything that was conducted there, but yeah, on all the
It's just the way we've
resolutions.
done it for 7 years, Tom. So, you requested that we do public comment. We did it a couple meetings ago, we had a very difficult time getting through. And we had business to conduct. And how do we get
Can I make a resolution to public comment at the beginning of the meeting within a defined span of time so that we can manage?
I'll second a motion to have public comment at the beginning of the meeting. At the end. Mrs. Lenahan? Yes. Mr. Gemstein?
Yes.
So that was the other thing, is there? How do we get the ability to
Why are you holding public comment
Did you sign a form?
from being held?
Then you should
So
speak.
you have Dr. Yamrick.
At the time, there's a reason why we cannot,
He's a resident.
it's an executive issue. Yes, he is.
No, but he's a resident and
It's
it's
an
filled out.
it's an executive matter
It's
issue.
because on December 4th,
that
you made your mind
includes
up.
litigation. Sorry.
You look surprised.
Sorry. I'll understand. But I will take these, Marie. Where's Marie?
Marie, go.
And we'll end with these two. This is it. Okay? That's all I have. That's all I have. If she wants, I
I'm Marie Fulmer, 8701 Mulberry Court. Thanks for allowing me to speak. Lila's my daughter. We called the squad twice before Christmas. She was in the ICU, released on Christmas Eve. Additionally, my father-in-law, who lives in Wedgwood, also had a cardiac issue, had to call the squad at 1 o'clock in the morning over the holidays. And then my neighbor, who I know you know very well, Carl Salomon, also had to call the squad. I think it's really important that you think about this. It's not just one or two people. It's our community. And we're very concerned about it. It really feels as though we're not being heard. This is an important issue. I was in the back of the squad again, and we can't have just one person in the back of the squad. That issue matters too. These guys know us. They have the doctor's protocol. This is too much of an important issue. Please take time to think about that. It's not one or two families, it's a lot of families. And we're all here saying, please listen to us. We can't have our trustees not listen to us. We need your support. And again, these guys have been here. They trained here with Nationwide Children's for Lila when she was born. They started the National Registry. I felt very secure in my neighborhood, so I would never want to move from where I was at. I moved from Canterbury to Sherbrooke News, but I knew they could still get to us. I wouldn't want to go to somewhere else in Columbus without this fire department. So please keep our fire department the way it is. Thank you.
I wanted to say for the, I don't know what time, how many times I've said this. I have been having meeting after meeting, reading after reading, listening to everything you're saying, reading your texts, reading your emails. I try to respond to as many as I can. The number one consideration I have is what the people want. That is the that is the number one consideration that is in my list of things that I'm looking at. As I've evolved through this process, considering this, considering that, and considering every ramification of every little thing. That is the process that I have been going through. I have to do that. When, up until, when did we get that Fitch report? This was not on my radar. But when, as a trustee of this community, when I'm put in receipt of that by the commissioners, we have been trying for years to get Delaware County EMS to help us out a little bit more here in Liberty Township. And here, for the first time in the 7 years that I've been here, I have 2 county commissioners that are willing to do that. We've never had that opportunity. In the township, we can only recognize one revenue stream, and it's property taxes. Counties have the opportunity to recognize other additional revenue streams that we can never recognize. The only money we can receive for EMS and fire is property taxes.
And reimbursement.
That's why we approved it. Hang on. Just a minute. So, we want to have a sustainable situation for many years to come. All communities are looking outside of the box and partnering with their neighbors, even Dublin, to ensure sustainability into the future. They're all doing creative things to do that. Because our only revenue stream is property taxes, and I have 2 commissioners for the first time in 7 years, and Tom brought up a good issue that, they give us some money, they're not obligated to, they could stop tomorrow. Okay, so I can't count on that for sustainability. For the first time, I have 2 commissioners that say, Melanie, we're gonna help you out. Yeah. We're willing to help you out. They both reached out to me, and, because we've been asking for years for more money from them. All right. So I get this Fitch report, and they're suggesting that they can help us because this Fitch report says we can do better if ABCD. In the spirit of transparency, I asked Mike Cromer to come to the township and tell everybody that this report exists and what it says. That was being completely transparent. Come to the township and tell the public what's going on. And he did. During that meeting, one of my colleagues got pretty contentious and said, I want an apples to apples comparison. Mike was disappointed because he expected more from that meeting. He thought they were going to actually bring some type of proposal. But they didn't. They just said, hey, we have this report and we're willing to help. So at that meeting we said, well, tell us how you're willing to help. We don't know what that means. Okay. Then they give us a proposal that we were in receipt of in middle of December. And a very, very vague report at that. Now I have a Fitch report, and I still have 2 commissioners who are willing to do something. So then we get the proposal. And I have to tell you that in all of my research, in everybody I've talked to, looking at this procedure, that procedure, taking every one of the things that you people have told me at meetings, and I've made calls and said, what about this? 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 And everything you've said. What's the difference between 3 versus 2? Can you give us 3? What are you doing over, I've called Washington Township, what are you doing? I called Concord Township, what are you doing? I called City of Columbus, what are you doing? How does this work for you? What's going on in your department? All these things. I've been doing this day in and day out. I'm putting together information. The reason we did a resolution today to allow a trustee to go out is because we had somebody challenging that trustees shouldn't pursue information. Somebody today said, why don't you have Matt do it? What, was that, okay, why do you have staff? Well, we have staff for a lot of things and Matt's pretty busy. But you also elected us to do this work. So I'm doing the work. I'm
medical background. Do you have medical background? Do you personally have medical background so that you can't waive that standard?
That's why I'm relying on other people with medical backgrounds. And I'm going to tell you, Dr. Pancho, Dr. Angelos.
Are these our Riverside doctors?
And we have
or these Ohio State doctors?
Those two are Ohio State doctors. And as far as staffing matters, I responded to a resident today. You know, in the 7 years I've been here, we've replaced the administrator, the assistant administrator, the assistant fiscal officer, the assistant zoning inspector, the zoning inspector, and the fire chief. And the fire chief is really the most important position in this community. And nobody asked us, nobody weighed in on who we should hire for that position. So with staffing, it's really not something that usually the public weighs in on. It's also very usual and customary to have one trustee be a liaison to a department. And I've done it before, year after year. Until about last year, we had liaisons.
Okay,
So that's very common.
You just think we lost the way.
Right,
But on the 4th, you instructed Frommer to start with the transition.
I asked him for to describe what a transition looks like.
That's not what your email says. That is not what you in your email.
That's what I meant.
Okay, now where's
That is unequivocally untrue.
Right, I said I needed to see what.
I'd like to start by hiring your medical director as
You're out of order. You're trying to have an orderly meeting. For the first time, I'm being allowed to speak. So just.
27 resolutions, no one's spoken.
In the past, we have had liaisons, and recently we've had staff come to us complaining about some trustees being a little hostile, and so we.
But I'm talking about the fact that you took it upon yourself to contact the Delaware County Administrator and tell him what to do unilaterally in that email.
No, I can't tell him what to do.
That email states that you're going to hire on January 1st.
What you wanted him to do.
That's what the email says.
That's what I was planning on doing moving forward, but I have to go to the commissioners for all that. That's why this takes all kinds of time. You can't, when you're on 2 boards of 3, and you know this.
I do.
When you're on 2 boards of 3, things take a lot of time because you have to go out as individuals and gather your information. Then you have to go to those individuals and say, is this okay with you? Is this okay with you? So that's what is.
But your email, in the December 3rd meeting, you told all of us that you were doing all this research, that you hadn't decided. And on December 3rd, you sent an email to Frommer and said, let's do it.
No, I want to see what a transition looks like.
That's not what
I
you
want to
said.
do a test. That's exactly what I told him. I want to test this. I will never do this.
But who
without a
gave
test.
you authority to do that? You're one of
I can only tell him what I want. I can't instruct him what to do. I was talking to him about what I want to do.
You cannot, there is no litigation, and that wouldn't be basis for This is from the attorney. You cannot restrict
Sir, I need him
this.
to.
You cannot. There is no lawsuit. You're retaliating against the public concern. That's a First Amendment violation.
We have rules, and I asked you.
There's no lawsuit, there's no litigation.
I asked you to be seated, Dr. Emery. You have not been called to the stand. You are violating the rules. We're all.
Right.
Need to go into executive session for RC 121.22. Do you want to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion?
What's your daughter, Michelle? Good job.
You are a shame.
I'm willing to do anything.
Me too.
God damn it.
We only need the second one. We don't need the second.
I do not want, there's a, not what I'm
Where's Holly?
I'm sorry.
I keep hearing about the right. Okay, but this will take a while, it's complex, researching. But my concern was you voted against renewing the medical program. What was your plan come January? Or did you not have a plan?
No.
So you did have a plan for government. I don't believe we would just move to not having emergency policy medical services. So if you voted against it, it felt that, to me as a resident, you had a plan. Yet I heard over and over at the meeting, there's nothing to vote on. So either we're damning about to hit this place of believers, or you have a plan that you're not sharing. This is the transparency part that I really feel is necessary.
She knows me. She knows me.
And I think that the expense of using and I don't think that changing to the policy that doesn't match your needs is the way. I am not going to discourage. I'm not going to discourage our fire department. I'm not going to discourage our
in your role in government, you disparage. You can't be afraid to offend a man if you're going to fire him.
I'm not firing.
Yes, you're okay.
And I'm a receiver.
So who was the medical director to hire? And are you aware of this? So did you have a plan as well? Does everyone have a plan? I understand. That's why. So looking in from my window, like I just told you, I'm a resident. I'm sitting here at a meeting in December saying we will not have EMS services in weeks. Weeks.
But the reason I
don't, you've lost my trust. So I appreciate that you say that won't happen. But the trust is not there because the transparency is not there. Either you had a plan that you didn't share, or you were delinquent in your duties, which I don't believe is the case.
They're doing work for safety about it. And we would have been able to say, it can only be, it can't be, you can't. They sure be doing that's exactly right. So you have executive session. How is it? We have
Delaware. And that's something that is in process.
So you don't like that, so you're going to fire the current medical director and get a new one. That's the plan. And I was
I'm not saying it's a plan, but
Jimmy's was what you call it, that's when that are at it, so it wasn't. You saw that, right?
Thank you for listening. I'm sitting here going,
And actually,
and I appreciate that. I don't want to know what we can do. Perhaps I want to know what we can do. I want to know what the plan is to move, because it is a fun. So, at the end of January, what is the plan?
I would like to know why my son. Right now I don't I'm going to get trained on how to go out to Office 365. And it's not been
Yeah, we need to approve the
before we used to have from the county and my but we used to
There should be somebody who can get that.
I said it's become an issue. Until now.
Hit save, and then I hit post or share.
So I posted for that. And people
I was like,
I tried to, what's your name? I did. I tried to respond to that.
I gotta find my freaking letter.
You what?
Someone took it.
I don't mind
Did you?
really any of your time.
Yes, it's the letter. That letter.
It was a good conversation. I really hope that we can act on it. Yeah, I mean, there might be, you know, how about this? Maybe it's like a for life.
Yeah, I think it's all, we just gotta get it all
You're
out.
not measuring it, but you don't have models to look at. You can't do that statement.
I didn't.
Oh, of course. So
That was probably what I and it's sent over. Well, we're trying to get that. I think we only asked for one direct. But yeah, it was in Farmers. And then I had like Brian Lawrence.
I did not realize that you were going to add the official associates analysis of
Because I kept my mouth shut. Nobody knew I did that. I did it way before.
Yeah, I never heard of official report until I read my So all I'm considering opportunities for increased service levels or savings, but never at the expense of service levels. So the county, for the first time, 2 of the 3 commissioners are willing to help the township out more than they have been to provide EMS services. Because they understand that it's getting very expensive, and the only revenue stream that I can provide is property taxes. Whereas the county recognizes other revenue streams, and they're funded by the sales tax. Delaware County EMS is funded by sales tax, which is growing exponentially for obvious reasons, right? So when we get commercial in the community, we don't get the sales tax. The county does. So the sales tax of the county is what's funding Delaware County EMS. So we said to Delaware County, come on in and tell our residents about this in the spirit of transparency. You know, I'm not going to slide it under the thing and say, hey, you paid $45,000 for this assessment of the countywide EMS, but I'm sweeping it under the rug and ignoring it. So Adam came, read it, had some information, and then biggest problem is we have multiple EMS units in the county. This is this report indicated that because you have these multiple EMS units, you're not getting the best service you could. You had like centralized service. So that's when they said, hey, do you want to somehow, have fewer EMS units? And can we help you to do better? That's the feeling I got when I was in the report. So in the spirit of transparency, came in, told our residents, hey, there's this report. Great. So now I have a report that says I can have better service and save money, and I can't ignore that. I mean, that's my job. That's my responsibility. It's about increased opportunities for increased service levels. I mean, we have a response time of 13 and a half minutes at 4 a.m. to get to our northernmost areas of our township. Imagine if that came in at 5 p.m. Okay, this is a 13 and a half minute response time at 4 a.m. when there's a Delaware County EMS station 3 minutes from that resident's house. At Berlin Township, where Delaware County EMS provides EMS and Berlin Township provides fire. And they rent to be in that fire station.
So I mean,
they sat there while we left everybody on the south end vulnerable. Now our truck is 13 and a half minutes away, leaving us with one truck now. Don't you think it would have made more sense? Delaware County EMS and Berlin Township that was sitting there with nothing to do could be to this resident in 2 or 3 minutes, and our truck is still sitting in the station in the event that one of our residents down here where we have a denser population would need it. So I can't ignore that opportunity, and I think it's dereliction of duty to ignore it, and especially to take cracks at people who are trying to see if there's ways or opportunities. Well, what I believe is that so many falsehoods and lies were pushed out to the community that everybody has these preconceived notions that are just false. What do you mean you're not going to have EMS in our township? Well, of course, no matter what we do, we're going to have EMS. Oh, no, that had been on the agenda long before that email. That's a December 4th email. Oh, no, it had been official business. We had already had a big meeting where everybody spoke. He had come and said, here's what we have. And at that point, let's see, when did we start talking about the medical? Okay, so I personally would like to move in a different direction with our medical director's staffing position. I'm not going to disparage anybody in a public meeting. Our staffing decisions are done in executive session, and that's out of respect for staff. So those decisions are always made in executive session and discussed in executive session. We don't discuss staffing information and ideas in public session.
Right, so the current contract ends the next meeting will be 9 days short of when the decision is made. What's the plan in having?
So that's why I asked for a resolution tonight, giving me authority from the board to go ahead and talk about the contract. It's very difficult on a 3-person board because none of us can talk outside of public session. And so I wanted the authority, I wanted the blessing of the board to go and pursue different opportunities for the medical director position. So that is transparency. That is saying here, board approves. Melanie's going to go out. Trustee Lenny is going to go and gather this information for us to discuss.
Do you understand that there are people who feel concerned about this? Liberty Township looks like when it comes to medical director, seeing like it's so close to the end. What's your response?
We will never be without a medical director. That is never.
Do you understand your concerns?
I guess I do, but we've always had a medical director. That's never going to. We have to have a medical director because our can't have any mess. So it's my responsibility to make sure we don't mess. I'm not gonna shirk that responsibility. Not sole authority, if somebody else wants to, they can too, but I wanted a resolution because I want there to be transparency.
So the email is a resolution read from the EPA stating that trustees. Was that allowed to happen?
Oh, yes, yes. In the spirit of transparency. I can go out and talk to anybody I want. I can go out and I can talk to any, I can decide today that, hey, I might want to look at a different staffer for this position. I can go and have conversations. I can't take any action, but I can certainly go out and do my research, and that's kind of our job. Every one of us is supposed to be doing that. Traditionally, on board trustee, on boards, a lot of times it's very customary to ask one trustee, hey, you go work on this. For example, when we negotiate, for example, well, that was in the spirit of transparency. But like for the last IAFF, the Board of Trustees appointed Trustee Mitchell and the fiscal officer to do this. Basically gave them the authority that you're going to go and you're going to negotiate this contract, and we're going to live with what you do. Because we all three don't have time to do everything. So it's very customary to say, and having a liaison with the different departments also very customary to have that. Usually you just say you don't need a resolution, but I've been challenged about transparency, so I did a resolution just to have transparency. But it's still spinning. No.
It was all of this. Investigation of
I don't know where those theories are coming from. I had somebody say something about, oh, it's because there's another OSU medical facility going in, not the one that's already here, but another one. I'm not familiar with any of that. Listen, as a trustee, I don't make decisions based on my future in politics. I make decisions based on what's best for the residents and what do the residents want. I said tonight, you heard me try to speak, but unfortunately we lost order again. Right? So in the past meetings, I was pretty much not able to speak because we had no order. So tonight I tried to establish more order, but again, as you notice, I was starting to get into what was going on exactly, and then I lost order because I get challenged and screamed at. So that's exactly what we saw tonight. So I would have loved to have gone on and said, here's where we're at, this is exactly where we're at in the process. Where we are is we're continuing to gather information, and as we're getting more information, my thoughts are evolving in different directions. Strongest consideration was to, and what you're seeing here is representative of our entire we had one woman try to speak, and they booed her when she spoke her name, and laughed at her, and made noises and cackled at her, and pretty much just... That's why I asked that the resolution from 2013 be read tonight, because it's not appropriate that both sides don't get to speak. Then or sooner, we may have a special meeting. I don't know. And I don't know if we'll see what the hearing. I'm only one of three trustees. Do you know what the other? I don't. We can discuss that. So we can discuss that in executive session, and we'll discuss that in tonight's executive session. We may have
jump in front?
Yes, yeah, no, I've got to turn it off, dude.